Imagine this. The World Cup final is tied. The scoreboard shows 2-2. 90 minutes have been played. More than 1 billion people around the world are watching. Every player is exhausted. Every fan is on the edge of their seat. Then the referee blows the whistle. If you're used to sports like football, basketball, or hockey, you'd probably expect a normal overtime period. But in soccer, things work very differently. And what happens next has produced some of the most dramatic moments in sports history. Most people think every tied soccer match goes into overtime. That's actually not true. In many competitions around the world, if a match ends tied after 90 minutes, that's simply the end of the game. No extra period, no shootout, no winner. Both teams walk away with a point and move on. Sounds strange, right? Imagine an NFL game ending 21-21 and everyone just accepting it. But soccer only uses overtime when a winner is absolutely required. That's why knockout tournaments are so intense. In competitions like the World Cup, Champions League, or major cup finals, somebody has to advance and somebody has to go home. So when 90 minutes aren't enough to separate the teams, soccer enters a phase called extra time. And this is where everything changes. Extra time adds 30 more minutes to the match. But instead of one long period, it's divided into two 15-minute halves. The score doesn't reset. The game simply continues. If the score is 1-1 after 90 minutes, extra time begins at 1-1. If it's 3-3, it stays 3-3. The players don't get a long break. They switch sides, catch their breath for a moment, and keep going. Now imagine how difficult that really is. A professional soccer player can run more than 7 miles during a match. They've already spent 90 minutes sprinting, changing direction, making tackles, and chasing the ball. Their legs are burning, their energy is fading, their minds are exhausted, and yet they're expected to play another 30 minutes under the biggest pressure imaginable. This is often when matches become unpredictable. Tired defenders make mistakes. Attackers find small openings. Goalkeepers are forced to make impossible saves. One tiny error can end an entire tournament. That's what makes extra time so different from overtime in many other sports. Soccer is a low-scoring game. A basketball team might score over 100 points. An NFL team can score multiple touchdowns. But in soccer, a single goal can decide everything. That means every attack suddenly feels enormous. Every corner kick becomes dangerous. Every shot makes fans hold their breath. Because everyone knows one moment could change history. And if neither team scores enough to win after those extra 30 minutes, the match reaches its most dramatic stage. The penalty shootout. For some fans, it's the most exciting part of soccer. For others, it's pure torture. Here's how it works. Each team chooses 5 players. One at a time, they step up to take a penalty kick from 12 yards away. Standing between them and glory is just one goalkeeper. Nothing else. No defenders. No teammates. No second chances. Just a player, a ball, and an entire stadium watching. The pressure is almost impossible to describe. Players spend their whole lives dreaming about these moments. Millions of viewers are watching. Entire nations are hoping. And everything comes down to a kick that lasts less than a second. Some of the greatest players in history have missed penalties. Not because they lacked skill, because pressure changes everything. Your legs feel heavier, your heart beats faster, your mind races, and suddenly the simplest kick in soccer becomes the hardest one you'll ever take. After 5 penalties each, the team with more goals wins. But if they're still tied, the shootout continues. This is known as sudden death. One team scores, the other misses. Game over. Tournament over. Dreams shattered. Heroes created. What's fascinating is that soccer once had an even crazier rule. It was called the golden goal. Under this rule, if a team scored during extra time, the match ended instantly. No finishing the period. No opportunity to respond. The very moment the ball crossed the line, the game was over. Imagine the tension. Every attack could be the final attack. Every shot could instantly end a championship. The rule created unforgettable moments, but it also made teams incredibly cautious. Nobody wanted to make the mistake that would send them home. Eventually, soccer authorities removed the golden goal and returned to the system used today. But perhaps the greatest example of soccer overtime happened at the 2022 World Cup final. Argentina faced France in a match that many people consider the greatest World Cup final ever played. Argentina seemed in control. Then France fought back. The score was tied after 90 minutes. Extra time began. Argentina scored again. The stadium exploded. Fans thought it was over. Then France answered. Again, suddenly the score was tied once more. The tension was unbelievable. Every pass felt important. Every tackle felt massive. Every second seemed to last forever. After 120 minutes, the two teams still couldn't be separated. The biggest trophy in sports would be decided by penalties. Millions watched in silence. Players stood frozen. Goalkeepers tried to distract the shooters. The pressure was unbearable. Then came the kicks, one after another. Success, save, goal, and eventually, Argentina emerged victorious. Not because they scored the most goals during regulation, not because of a last-second play, but because they stayed calm when the pressure was at its highest. That's what makes soccer's version of overtime so unique. It isn't just about skill, it's about endurance. It's about courage. It's about performing when your body is exhausted and the entire world is watching. Because when 90 minutes aren't enough, soccer doesn't simply give you more time. It gives you some of the most intense moments that sports has to offer. And sometimes, the difference between heartbreak and immortality is just one kick of a ball.